All right, let's talk about academic writing. I know. Sometimes it feels like you're staring up at this impossible skyscraper you're supposed to build and you don't even have a blueprint. But here's the thing. It's not about being some kind of writing genius. It's all about having a process. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to build that blueprint together, starting with the absolute smallest piece and work our way up to a paper you can be seriously proud of. Ready? Let's do this. Oh yeah, that blank page. We've all been there, right? Just you and that little blinking cursor kind of judging you. It's that feeling of pressure, like you have to pull a masterpiece out of thin air. It's super intimidating. But I promise you, the secret to beating it isn't some kind of magic spell. Nope, the secret is actually way simpler. We just need to think like a builder. You wouldn't try to hang the chandelier before you've even laid the foundation, would you? Of course not. And that's exactly how we're going to tackle this paper. One single, solid brick at a time. So let's get to our foundation, the mighty sentence. Seriously, this is it. This is the bedrock of everything. Think about it. Every single thing you write, whether it's a text message or your final thesis, it's all built from sentences. If you can get this part right, I'm telling you, everything else just starts to click into place. So what exactly is a sentence? Well, yeah, it's a group of words that expresses a complete idea. But I like to think of it more as a little package. Its one job is to deliver a single, complete thought to your reader's brain. That's it. One idea, delivered cleanly, done. Okay, so what does complete idea even mean? Well, it boils down to two things that every single sentence has got to have. First, a subject. That's just who or what are we talking about. And second, a verb. What are they doing? You need both. Without them, it's not a full thought. Take the student wrote. Bam, subject, student, verb, wrote. That's a complete sentence. Anything else, like an excellent essay, that's just bonus information. All right, let's talk about some common problems. First up, the dreaded run-on sentence. This is basically when you take two perfectly good sentences and just kind of squish them together without any proper punctuation. Here's the best trick I know. Read it out loud. Seriously. I enjoy practical parts of the course the most, as I find them interesting. You hear that? That little gasp for air in the middle? That's your brain telling you, hey, this should be two sentences. And then you have the total opposite problem, the sentence fragment. Look at that second part on its own. Because I am not working. See how that just trails off? It leaves you hanging. It's like a movie that ends right before the big reveal. It's a piece of an idea that needs to be connected to a full sentence to actually make sense. Last one, and this is a big one, the rambling sentence. You know the one. It's where you just keep adding and then, like a runaway train of thought. It just exhausts the reader. Look at the difference when you break it up. The correct version is so much crisper, clearer, and way more powerful. It actually has impact. Okay, so we've got our bricks, our solid, well-made sentences. Now it's time to start putting them together to build the walls and the roof. And that's where the perfect paragraph comes in. A really good paragraph is kind of like a mini essay all by itself. It has one job to explore one single idea. The first sentence, your topic sentence, is like a promise. It tells your reader, hey, this is what I'm about to tell you. Then, the middle sentences are you keeping that promise, backing it up with facts, evidence, and examples. And that last sentence, it just ties a neat little bow on it before you move on to the next idea. Let's actually look at an example. See that first sentence? Boom, a clear claim. Exercise is great for mental health. Now the paragraph has to prove it. And notice those little signpost words? Firstly, additionally, finally. They're like a GPS for your reader, guiding them through your logic. It's not just a random list of facts. It's a structured, persuasive argument that's super easy to follow. All right, our walls are up. We have strong paragraphs. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the master blueprint for the whole building. The good news is, a standard academic paper isn't some big, scary mystery. It actually follows a pretty straightforward and logical structure. So here's a really common mistake I see all the time. People write a super short intro, a super short conclusion, and then just cram everything else into a massive, messy middle. This chart is a fantastic guide to avoid that. Think about it. Your introduction is your first impression, and your conclusion is what you leave your reader with. They're crucial. Giving them the right amount of space, like you see here, makes your whole paper feel balanced and thoughtfully put together. Honestly, the logic behind the structure is beautifully simple. You've probably heard it before. Tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and finally, tell them what you told them.
That's it. But, and this is the golden rule, your conclusion is not the place for a surprise plot twist. If you suddenly think of a brilliant new point while you're writing the conclusion, that's great, but you gotta go back and put it in the main body where it belongs.
So the main structure is built, the house is standing, now it's time for the interior design, the finishing touches. These are the little details that take a paper from being just okay to being really, really good. And that means we need to talk about using your sources like an absolute pro. Okay, one of the most vital skills you can learn is paraphrasing. And let's be clear, this does not mean just swapping out a few words with a thesaurus. That's a recipe for disaster. Real paraphrasing means you digest an idea, you truly understand it, and then you explain it in your own unique words and sentence style. And, I can't say this enough, you absolutely must still cite the original source. Check out this example. It's perfect. The original idea is that the employer is responsible. The paraphrase says the exact same thing, but look, the wording, the sentence structure, it's totally different. This shows you didn't just copy, you understood. And of course, that little citation at the end is non-negotiable. You're borrowing their idea, so you have to give them the credit. Now, summarizing is a little different. It's a different tool in your toolbox. You paraphrase when you want to use one specific, detailed idea from a source. You summarize when you need to give a quick overview of a much bigger piece of work, like a whole article or a chapter. So think of it this way. Paraphrasing is describing one specific tree in detail, while summarizing is describing the entire forest. And all of this, paraphrasing, summarizing, it all comes down to your academic superpower, referencing. Please don't think of referencing as just a chore to avoid getting in trouble for plagiarism. It's so much more than that. It shows you've done your homework, it lends massive credibility to your arguments, it's you joining a bigger conversation with other experts. Honestly, it's what makes your work look and feel professional. So, as we start to wrap this up, if there's one thing I want you to take away, it's this. Good writing is a process. Nobody, and I mean nobody, sits down and cranks out a perfect paper on the first try. It just doesn't happen. It's all about building, tweaking, and polishing. It's a skill, and like any skill, you get better at it by using these building blocks one paper at a time. So there you have it. You've got the blueprint now. From the tiniest brick, the sentence, all the way up to the full structure. That blank page, it's not so scary anymore, is it? Think of it as an opportunity, an empty space just waiting for you to build something amazing. So, the only real question is, what great idea are you going to build first?